Well, folks, the Matt Gaetz ethics report came out today, and it was every bit as bad as we expected that it would be. I really can't say that I'm shocked when I read any of this, and I can't say that I'm shocked at Maga's reaction to this and how the evangelicals have just went complete crickets on us during this one. But you can read the entire thing for yourself over at MidasNews.com. I'm going to read to you here in just a second some of the evidence that the ethics report found. But before I do that, I do want to remind you guys, if you haven't already, be sure and hit that subscribe button. Folks, we're closing the gap. We're almost there to 500,000 subscribers. We're less than 7,000 away now. So I really believe we'll be hitting it here soon, and I appreciate you guys so much. And a huge shout out to the Midas Touch Network for all of their support. You guys are the best. But I tell you who isn't the best. Matt Gaetz. As a matter of fact, he's one of the worst, and this report is pretty disgusting. So, like I said, you can read the entire thing over on MidasNews.com. But in sum, the committee found substantial evidence of the following. Get a load of this, folks. From at least 2017 to 2020, Representative Gaetz regularly paid women for engaging in sexual activity with him. In 2017, Representative Gaetz engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl. During the period 2017 to 2019, Representative Gaetz used or possessed illegal drugs, including cocaine, ecstasy, on multiple occasions. Representative Gaetz accepted gifts, including transportation and lodging, in connection with a 2018 trip to the Bahamas in excess of permissible amounts. In 2018, Representative Gaetz arranged for his chief of staff to assist a woman with whom he engaged in sexual activity in obtaining a passport, falsely indicating to the U.S. Department of State that she was a constituent. Representative Gaetz knowingly and willfully sought to impede and obstruct the committee's investigation of his conduct. I mean, they always do that. That's not surprising at all. And Representative Gaetz has acted in a manner that reflects discreditably upon the House. Now, I do want to point this out because I know someone in Maga, if there's a troll reading this, they're screaming this part. The committee did not find sufficient evidence to conclude that Representative Gaetz violated the federal sex trafficking statute. Although Representative Gaetz did cause the transportation of women across state lines for purposes of commercial sex, the committee did not find evidence that those women were under the age of 18, nor did the committee find evidence that they were brought here by force or by fraud. But that's it, folks. That is the report that Mike Johnson went out of his way to stop. Mike Johnson, the guy that says he's the Lord's new Moses and he's been sent down here to do God's work, and they feel that God's hands is upon Donald Trump. They tried to stop that from being released. They did not want anyone to know about that. Instead of throwing one of their own under the bus and saying, that ain't who we are. We don't support that kind of behavior, and we're kicking Matt Gaetz out of the club. That ain't what they did. They went out of their way to protect this guy. And Matt Gaetz has went out of his way to discredit this report, as has Steve Bannon and everyone else. That's the thing about Maga. You got to understand, they're always going to call these things witch hunts. They're always going to say this is weaponization of government. They're always going to cry this is fake news. But this is the dude that Donald Trump had picked first to be his attorney general. Picture a dude like that with that position of power. It's pretty damn scary. But I also want to bring up something absolutely ridiculous that Matt Gaetz shared. I believe he shared this back on the 18th. But I want you guys to really get a load of this post that he put on X. I don't like going over to X. I'm only doing it because this is where he posted it. And I just want to zero in on this one part here. In my single days, I often sent funds to women I dated. Even some I never dated, but who asked. So he's just sending money to women he dated. When you pay money to a woman for a date, we all know what that's called. I never had sexual conduct with anyone under 18. Any claim that I have would be destroyed in court, which is why no such claim was ever made in court. And then he says, my 30s were an era of working very hard and playing hard too. It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I have earlier in my life, but I live a different life now. So that's the tune that he's singing. He lives a different life now, but I wanted to hide all of that from you guys. I wanted to keep all that a secret from you guys because I wanted to go on out here with the support of evangelicals and have them pat me on the back. I wanted to continue to go on and demonize Hunter Biden every chance I get. And I wanted them to be able to demonize Hunter Biden and Bill Clinton and anybody else they could throw it at, but not me. Keep everything hidden. That is the hypocrisy of this that I cannot stand. Okay? Listen, we have all done stupid things in our 20s, 30s, on into our 40s. We've all made mistakes. I'm not here to cast stones over somebody for making mistakes. It always goes back to the blatant hypocrisy of these people. When I was a kid, it was Ronald Reagan and the moral majority. And you had the Reverend Jerry Falwell and the Reverend Billy Graham and Pat Robertson and all those people preaching values and how that's what they stood for. And then along come Bill Clinton. And they spent 8 years talking about Bill Clinton's sex life and what a terrible person he was. And listen, if Bill Clinton has ever wronged anybody or done any wrong in this world, I'm not here to give Bill Clinton a pass either. That's not what this is about. What this is about is how they spent years demonizing Bill Clinton, saying, oh, we just got to get a man with morals and values in. Well, then they get George W. Bush. He sends us into the war in Iraq, and they make every excuse for that. It's okay. The economy tanks. Everything goes to crap. But it's okay because we got us a good moral man. And then after that, we saw John McCain run, who was a veteran. And you could at least say, well, John McCain is experienced. He is a veteran. He has served his country. You could at least say that about him. And I do believe that John McCain, probably out of the last several Republican people that we've had, was definitely more of a moral person than any of the clowns we got today. But then they just come along and they accept Donald Trump hook, line, and sinker. And then anyone that Donald Trump picks or wants to put in a position of power, they accept them. And they never call them out in sight. You never see them oust one. See, when I was growing up in the church, you would literally get ousted if you acted that way. Or you would be guilt tripped till you got on the altar and repented of your sins. But no, Mike Johnson tried to stop this from coming out. They didn't want this to come out. And now people like Marjorie Taylor Greene says, well, if this is going to come out, then let it all come out. Let the Epstein files come out too. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Marge, I'm pretty sure Trump will probably tell you to pump the brakes on that one because he himself said, well, I would pump the brakes on that one because there's a lot of fake stuff in there. There's a lot of fake stuff in that one. It's always fake news when it's them. It's never we screwed up. It's never that's not the kind of person that we are. They always go out of their way to make excuses for the likes of Matt Gaetz. They always go out of their way to suppress it and keep it down. And they've got that built-in scapegoat already in place that says, hey, anything reported against us, it's all just fake news. It's the libs. And it's so disgusting watching them go after Hunter Biden the way they did, drag him through the mud and humiliate him and the Biden family, and go out of their way to mock his addiction and make fun of him every step of the way. And meanwhile, they had a guy like Matt Gaetz over here, and that's who they was considering to be Attorney General. I know not everyone is going to agree with my politics, and I know a whole lot of people don't agree with the way that I view religion, the way that I view God. I understand it, and you don't have to agree with everything I say. But isn't the hypocrisy just glaring on this one? Isn't it just right out in everyone's face so blatantly that these are the biggest hypocrites that ever came along? It would be different if every time these things came out, they cut ties with that person. It would be different if every time this stuff like this came out, they cut ties, they said, that's not us, that's not who we are. It would be different if they actually lived a different life, but they don't. They live this life, and when it comes out, it's just fake. It's not real. They never take accountability and responsibility, but yet they want to sit and demonize anyone. Well, like I said earlier, I'm not here to cast stones at people for partying hard or working hard or playing hard. I've made my share of mistakes, and I have been demonized, and there's certain family members I still can't go around to this day. There's certain family members that I'm not going to miss this year at Christmas because they would want to bring up my past, and they would want to bring up something I've done and throw it in my face. And meanwhile, they're all for Trump appointing this cabinet of clowns. With all the accusations that's against all of them, they're perfectly okay with it. It's only if it's a Democrat. It's only if it's someone who opposes Trump. And that's the thing, too. If Matt Gaetz had have ever went against Trump on anything, Trump would have threw him under the bus in a heartbeat. And that's what all of Maga needs to stop and think about. Mike Johnson, everyone included. Marjorie Taylor Greene, everyone. Step out of line with your leader just once, see what happens. See if he's ready to release all the reports on you. The hypocrisy is absolutely off the charts on this one, and I'm not going to be lectured by those people when it comes to morals. The Republican Party is no longer the party of morals and values. They're no longer the party of Christianity. Don't let anyone tell you that they are. I may be agnostic, but I recognize that that is not true Christianity. That's not what it was ever meant to be. I know a lot of good people out there who are Christians that do not act that way, do not treat people that way, and aren't that hypocritical. So stop listening to people who uses the Bible to weaponize it against people that they disagree with. And stop listening to people who tries to stop these reports from coming out because they want to keep everything under wraps. Meanwhile, they want to demonize anyone else that's ever made a mistake. Don't give those people your time for 1 minute.